Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with friends, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about a knife that I wasn't planning on picking up, but I'm glad I did pick up. And that's the 2020 Case Vault knife, the Pocket Hunter. I really was not planning on picking one up this year. The pattern really did not appeal to me that much. And I was a little disappointed in the Barlow that I picked up last year. I've got a video on that. You can see it. And so I really wasn't thinking about picking up the Pocket Hunter, but I was at Shepherd Hills Cutlery, and they had one in what was called lizard skin, and I saw a picture of it, and it looked pretty cool. So I thought, you know what, I am going to go ahead and pick one up. I kind of like that, and I trust Shepherd Hills Cutlery, and I'm kind of glad I picked it up. This is the actual number on it, number 22791, and according to the box, it's the Burnt Bright Green Bone Corncob Jig Pocket Hunter. I am so glad that Shepherd Hills Cutlery called it the Lizard Skin Pocket Hunter. That's a lot easier to get out, and kind of does describe the way it looks, and here you have it. You can see the green there, and you can also see the burnt portion, which is the brown part, which is at the top of all the corncob jigging. You see the brown portion, and the two sides are pretty evenly matched. I think this side is just slightly lighter, but you know, unless you're really trying to look for it, you really can't notice it when you're flipping it back and forth. You can when you got it really close and you're looking real close. But the fit and finish on it is really nice. I'm very impressed with it. They did a much better job with the fit and finish on this little Pocket Hunter than they did with the Barlows last year. So I can understand why so many people are talking about these as a better knife than last year's. The bone is really smooth. Obviously, it's your typical case knife, so you've got the brass liners, stainless steel back springs, brass pins, nickel silver bolsters, and then there are case true sharp stainless steel blades, which are basically a 420 high carbon steel. The only flaw in this whole thing on the finish is right here. My fingernail just barely catches the edge of the shield, the case shield, and that's because it is right in the middle of one of the recesses for the corncob jigging. That is the only reason it hits. Otherwise, I would not feel it at all. And you know, you really have to dig in there to find it. Otherwise, it feels pretty good. As for the blades, I can tell you when you get it right at the top here, you can feel the slightest hint of rubbing in the joint. Very slight. If you want to make it a big complaint, you can make it a big complaint. I'm sure somebody will. I tell you, I can just barely feel it. And that's on both blades. You've got the Skinner blade up front. I guess these days they call this a straight blade. It used to be called a Skinner blade all the time. And that's because this is the main blade for skinning. And it's basically your, you know, it's got the straight top going on. In any case, the nice and tight. There is actually no wobble whatsoever in the blade at all. None. It is as tight as can be. And as for the other blade, the clip blade, same thing. Ever so slight rubbing or in the joint right at the top here. But when you get it all the way open, you know, again, tight, no wobble whatsoever. You have to really try, and even when you really try, chances are you're going to break the pivot before, or break the blade before you're going to get it to wobble. So they really did a good job on the finish on that, or the fit on that, on those blades. Good closing snap. Obviously, there is no half stop on these. It would have been nice to have a half stop, I guess. A lot of people would have liked that, but I really don't care if it has a half stop or not. blade action, I mean, they move really nice. And it just feels good. I'm really impressed with it. Impressed enough that I am seriously looking at getting a second one, which I was not impressed enough with the Barlows to consider getting a second one. So I am already looking at getting a second one, hopefully one with just one blade. So I'll have a bit of a difference in the two. And I'm really digging the lizard bone handles, or the lizard skin handles. Now I got 3 other knives out here. The reason they're here is so I can show you a side-by-side comparison of this knife with these knives. And hopefully that will help you decide on if it's something you want or not. Now for those peanut collectors out there, the peanut is 2 7/8 inches long. And this is a case peanut, and this is the Pocket Hunter by them, and you can see the size difference in there. I'll also do some slideshows showing you the differences in weight and stuff between a bone-handled peanut and the Pocket Hunter. The difference, though, is with the peanut here, I have there's obviously half stops going on, as you can see. There is absolutely no blade rub, and then the other blade on here is the pin blade. Blade wise, let's compare the blades. There's your Skinner to the pin blade. Obviously a difference in sizes. The Skinner is much bigger. And then if we compare the 2 clip blades, I like the way the clip blade on the peanut is in the front, and I don't know, I just like the setup on a case peanut. They do a really good job with it. And there you have the clip blades, a comparison of the 2 clip blades. Notice the peanut blade is more slim, and slightly longer cutting edge. But I think the Pocket Hunter is going to be able to handle more substantial chores because it has a much more blade spine going on there. It's a much thicker blade. You can even see there's a slightly more thicker spine on the Pocket Hunter too. Now let's close up the peanut. Now if we look at the case toothpick, definitely a slightly longer blade, as you can see. This blade's got a 2-inch cutting edge. The cutting edge on your ooh, look at that. Cutting edge on your Pocket Hunter is also 2 inches. So both of them have a cutting edge that is basically the same length, but the toothpick is going to be much slimmer. So there's a big difference in it, and both of them are sort of like a powder horn. Look at that. Length of the handle, a 3-inch handle, and the difference in the blade length. And if we look at the Skinner blade, you can see the difference there too. The Skinner blade also has a cutting edge that's right at 2 inches. So cutting edge on these 2 blades is, though it is deceptive, is about the same. So just something to keep in mind. And for you modern knife freaks out there, I pulled out my Spyderco Clippy tool, which is actually smaller than the Pocket Hunter. The Clippy tool comes in at right at 2 5/8 inches, and well, you can see the blade is definitely more substantial. This one has a pair of scissors for the secondary. So there you have the blade options there. The Spyderco, definitely has a thicker, heavier blade than the Pocket Hunter, but it is also shorter than the Pocket Hunter when it comes to the cutting edge. And let's face it, you are all the way up here on your Spyderco Clippy tool. So there you have the differences, or a size comparison of a few different knives to the Pocket Hunter, if that can help you make your decisions on the knife. But I'll tell you right now, quality-wise in the build, these are much better than the Barlows that were coming out last year. So, but I will tell you also that at least with this particular one, I feel just the hint of a grind when you're at the very top. It's actually working its way out, but when I first got it, I could feel just the hint of a little bit of a grind as you got to the top portion of opening and closing the knife. So might work its way out over time, but it does not affect the functionality of the knife in any way. But I'm sure there's going to be knife snobs out there who pointed out right away that, oh my God, this thing grinds like crazy and stuff. It's like, if it's grinding like crazy, then it's defective and you should take it, send it back to case and have them fix it. This one, I mean, seriously, it really, I can feel it ever so slightly, not enough to even concern myself over it. Matter of fact, the first couple times I did not even notice it. And when I open this one up now, the Spyderco, I feel a little bit of the same grind in it, so it could also just be in my mind. But yeah, there you have it, my lizard skin bone pocket hunter. I don't know if this is exclusive to Shepherd Hills Cutlery or not, but I do know one thing, I really do dig the way it looks, and I'm glad I picked it up. And now on to find another pocket hunter. Probably do another video on this knife in the future, comparing it to a couple other small knives. Any case, I'll let you go now. Have a great day. I've been carrying the knife for about a week now, and I can tell you that the grind that I was talking about in the pivot point, it is gone. It's virtually non-existent. I really have to try to feel it. And if I'm not trying to feel it, I don't feel it at all. And even when I'm trying to feel it, I think it's more my imagination than an actual grind. So there you have it, my lizard skin bone pocket hunter from Shepherd Hills Cutlery.
Thank you for visiting Knife Chats. I hope you enjoyed your time here. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that notification bell so that you will be notified when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. See you soon.